They walk along the meadow, enjoying the lilies in full bloom. They have vitality of life. The trees, they're bending their leaves in worship, and the roses are swinging in delight. The colors in this field together create a landscape that is unlike anything she has ever seen before. The freshness of the air worked to cleanse her lungs of the pollution of her past. There was a crystal clear river nearby, and along the riverbed there was so much life. As he walks, creation responds to him, for they know that he has given them life. They have walked and talked each day, the young lady and the man with fire in his eyes. His presence has awakened within her dreams that were once alive, long, long ago. Each day she grows stronger. She is healing, yet some scars remain. And he explains that the scars, like his, were evidence of what she had been through. They were not to be ashamed of. They speak her story of triumph. He had read to her from his book. It was an interesting book with stories of people who came before her, men called to leave their homes and lands, and men who led people through seas, women whose lives were changed, and men who were thrown into prisons and lions' dens and fiery furnaces. He had shown her how they could have endured dark times, dark, desperate times, because they trusted in him, and he had been with them. And as they walk together, he tells her about his father's love for his children, and how he delights over his own. And she cannot wait to meet him. She bursts out, Lord, when can I see him? Your father with a heart of gold. I long to know him too. And pausing in his stride, the man with fire in his eyes, he turns his head and he looks directly at her. And with a gentle laugh, he says, you have. He leans in close, and in his eyes, she sees who she was looking for. And when he sees that her expression has changed, he nods and says, daughter, it is I. And in that instant, she understood what she read. My father and I are one. He speaks of his other children, those who have not visited this place as yet, those who remain in that dusty, dirty, deathly field, and how he longs for each one to come home. And as he is speaking, she is moved by the tone of his voice. His love is a love so deep, so pure, so natural, and she yearns to feel what he feels. So she reaches out and touches the wound on his hand and is overcome by the strength of his pulse. In this sacred moment of time, she feels the rhythm of his heartbeat, and all the world diminishes in sound. The beating is so intense. Unable to pull away, she surrenders to its power, allowing his story to be told without her words that would get in the way. And slowly she begins to realize that her heart begins to join in the rhythm of his own. She senses a deep compassion for those who have never experienced him. How can I help, Lord? How can I help? You have done so much for us. How can I help? What can I do? He places his other hand on her shoulder and says, with me, you have become strong and will shine brightly with my light. You have received power through our relationship. I am in you and you are in me. And he turns and gazes over the horizon and continues, you will be my witness in your world. The things which you have learned and received and heard and saw in me, these do, and my peace will be with you. The rich and amber and deep magenta hues of the early evening sky announced to her that this is indeed a special night. Oh, the day they had spent together, and how she enjoyed being with him in the meadow, resting beside the still waters and receiving healing for her soul. In his presence, she was made whole. His words of life transformed the way that she thought, and she begins to see that with him all things were possible indeed. As they walk towards her home, she can't help but look at him with such love. What a journey. What a journey of transformation she is on. She will never forget what he has done, the rescue, the deliverance. He has set her free. The healing and wholeness. She has tasted of perfect liberty in his presence, feeding on his word. She has grown stronger and wiser each day. Step by step, they walk together in sync and harmony. And she knows with certainty that they will never, ever be apart. As they arrive at the steps of her home, he turns to her and speaks with a gentle firmness in his voice. I have prayed for you. You are mine. I have told you many things so that in the world you will be filled with my joy. I have given you my word. My word is truth. And the world will hate you because you do not belong to the world, just as I did not belong to it. You will be kept safe from the evil one. Just as I was sent into the world, I am sending you. And remember, we are one. The Father is in me, and I am in you. He hands her a bag that he had brought with him and lifts its latch to reveal what is hidden inside. There is a small loaf of bread and a flask made of animal skins, and she detected the sweetest aroma of wine. On the front of the worn bag was this word stitched in red, remember. With that, he said, good night, my beloved. Good night. With that, he says, good night, my beloved. Good night. She enters her room and rests deeply on her bed, fulfilled from today's journey, with joy in her heart and peace in her mind. She drifts off to sleep. She is awakened by a piercing scream that rings through the powerful night. It is accompanied by the sound of shackles jangling, and there's a musty odor filling the air. This scene is familiar. there is darkness all around. And it seems to be an open field with nothing to boast of but a short wooden block stained with the tears of those from years gone by. And sand blowing on the top of the wind threatens to cover the faint image of a young man standing on the old wooden block, all alone and in despair. Quietly, he moans for help. She hears him. She looks to the corner, and her expectation is verified. There he is, the accuser, with his familiar jeers and taunts. He sees her. He's aware that she's there. But this time, he is afraid. She's not the woman she used to be. Everything has changed. She's different now. There is a treasure within her. And now it's on display. Within her, she hears the familiar voice, the loving voice of the man with fire in his eyes, like waves crashing on a sandy shore. With a strong whisper, he strengthens her. Greater is he that is within you than he that is in the world. And she takes one step towards the old wooden block and faces her fears. And again she hears his voice within her. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. In her weakness, she is made strong. Bold as a lion, she bounds up that old wooden block and reaches it just in time to catch the young man who, with utter exhaustion, collapses. His arms are exposed. His eyes sunken. And he has the appearance of one who has injected white poison in his veins. But she is not afraid. She gazes on him and allows the love of him with fire in his eyes, the king of the kingdom of love, to rise up within her. Love is expanding within her. Love is unleashed through her, and light begins to shine. In the corner, the accuser is silently watching. He faces a great disappointment, another defeat. This one is rescued. And at that moment, it is all made abundantly clear to her. She was rescued not only for herself, but also for this one that she cradles in her arms. He's shivering from withdrawal, but he looks at her. Then he sees the scars that she carries, and he mutters, You understand. Loving him, she looks at this young man and tells him of the man who has changed her. She shares with him how she once stood on an old wooden block and cried out just the same. And one day he came and he rescued her and made her alive in a place she had never known. She tells him of her healing, her newfound joy, and of the river of delight that flows continuously. She assures him that there was life for him too, if he would place his trust in Jesus Christ. He looks at her and says, I'm ready. And after her, he repeats, Lord, I believe in you. I'm guilty and I need your forgiveness. Please, please help me. And in their hearts, they hear those words. It is finished. And with that, the sun begins to rise. This is his moment. And it is her moment too. She has become a conduit of his love, a carrier of his life. And for this man, new life has now begun. From under her coat, she takes out the special pouch. She opens it and breaks off a piece of the bread, and raising her eyes to heaven, she says, Lord, we remember. Starving for life, the young man joins with her to eat the bread and drink the wine. She knows that he will be weak, so she helps him to stand and tells him that he will grow stronger in time. He leans on her for support, and she places one arm around his waist. Together. Oh, together. Together they take steps of freedom in the power of God's grace.